Good. I'll leave that.
You're listening to another Ambitious Entrepreneur Network.com podcast, the voice for entrepreneurs and small business. Now, onto the show.
Welcome to the Christian Entrepreneurs Podcast, daily conversations with Christian entrepreneurs to inspire and empower Christian business owners to walk strongly in their faith, while build a thriving business that honors Him in every way. Now, over to your host, Anne-Marie Cross.
And welcome to another episode of the Christian Entrepreneurs Podcast. This is episode 111, and I'm your host, Anne-Marie Cross, the podcasting queen. Now, my guest today says, honor the creator of your beautiful life by existing in complete love. Let it pour out to those around you. Joining me on today's show is Kailagh Kankaras. Kailagh is the founder of My Luminous Life Coach. She is a faith-based life coach and freedom strategist who empowers women to claim their unique purpose by learning how to tune in to their highest self and to embrace the freedom lifestyle that they were created or truly created to live. Kailagh teaches women how to use their unique life experiences and God-given passion to create an online business to serve and empower others. Now, on today's show, Kailagh's going to share her story and life experience and how it can be used to inspire others, and you can too with your story, and to use your painful life's challenges and experiences to empower others. She's going to talk about how God's plan is perfect. Nothing is coincidence, but instead is God's hand at work in our lives. And she's also going to talk about stepping into vulnerability, into the unknown, to allow yourself to be carried by faith, and so much more. Welcome to the show, Kailagh.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor.
Oh, look, my pleasure. I know when we first got started, we were hoping and praying that, well, I was praying that it's going to stream live on Facebook, and it has. So it's really great. You know, sometimes these experiences or these challenges we're faced with, and we just kind of go with the flow. And I love that you're talking about how nothing is a coincidence. And I'm sure we all have different stories and events that has happened. As we look back, we can really see that it was an integral step or insight or something that God had placed in our path. So looking forward to you sharing more. Just share with us, if you will, an overview snapshot of what led you down the path to you where you are today and starting up My Luminous Life Coach. How did that pan out for you?
Yes, definitely by no coincidence. I know that God has led me on this path pretty much from the very beginning. He gave me passions and a desire to serve others, and life experiences that are now shaping the way I serve and empower others. So to give you kind of perspective on what I'm talking about, the last 3 years, me and my family have gone through a series of very challenging experiences. I lost my brother about a month after I got married, and then about a month after that, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. About a year after that, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and then now, back about 8 months ago, my dad passed away from Alzheimer's. So it's been kind of just one thing after another, but thankfully, by the grace of God, I've been able to look back on these experiences and truly heal from them. And now I'm able to use them to share and empower others to use their life challenges and experiences that God has used to shape their life into something that they can share and empower others with as well.
Yes. Look, thank you for sharing that story, and, you know, God's continued comfort and blessings on your life. It's not easy when something happens and then something else happens, and we know and we're promised that we will not be given an experience that He knows through His strength and what we are able to face and cope with. But sometimes you have to take a step back, don't you, and say, Lord, seriously, really? And I think for me personally, and I can really sense this for you too, had it not been for your faith, and know that you are loved by an everlasting God and nothing happens by coincidence, which is really what we cling to, isn't it? And for our hope and comfort, would you say that had it not been for that, you may not have been, how would you have coped through that?
Yeah, absolutely. My faith has carried me through each one of these hardships. And I've come to see Christ as the faith to know that good will always prevail. And because that lives within me, the same power that rose Jesus Christ from the dead lives within me. I know that good will always prevail. I know that because it did. And it always will. And I live with that faith, and it allows me to live in such a freedom and such a peace. Like, I carry this with me, and I try to share it with others as much as I can. I used to be so close to sharing my story. It was extremely difficult for me to get it out of my mouth without just like pouring into tears, of course. But thankfully, God has done a huge shift in my life and how I'm seeing these experiences that I've been through to now be able to share with others and empower them to do the same, because I know I'm not alone in the fact that I've been through hardships. It's the more I share, the more I see that every single one of us deals with struggles that are almost unfathomable. But I think it is helpful to share with others and talk about healing techniques and empowering techniques, and then to turn around and look where you are, look where you've been, and just be like so happy and so grateful that God has brought you to where you are.
Yes, absolutely. And looking back then, would you have said that during, the other challenges before these things started to happen in your life, that you were a naturally, when I say positive person, but really your strength came from your faith? Have you seen it grow? And I'd imagine the answer is going to be yes, of course. But why I ask that is sometimes people are faced with these challenges, people who are Christians even, and it challenges them so much so that they say, how can God do this to me or let this happen to me? And sometimes, sadly, they walk away from their faith. So I'd love you to share what was happening for you around that time when these things started to happen, and what were some of the things that you did to cling on to that rather than what some people sadly do and go, you know what?
I think I lost you.
Frozen. Oh, has it? Okay. Let's see if we can get it back. I'm going to stop talking now, and the floor is yours. Okay, I think what we're going to do is just pop this on pause for a moment. This is what happens when we've got live behind the scenes, and I promised to show all of the bloopers and all. So I'm just going to wait and see whether we can get Kailagh back, or whether it's just myself that has also frozen. Let's go back and have a look. Oh, I think she's going to log back in, and we can continue the conversation when she logs back in. What we may do, this hasn't happened before to me, so this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a learning experience for all of us when she logs in. Let's see if we can continue with this live. And let's see what happens. Hopefully she is able to get back in. Otherwise, I might log out too from Facebook and see where she's at, and then we'll come back once we figure out what the technical difficulties is. That's one of the things when you're recording a podcast just via audio, doesn't matter if these things happen, you can just edit it out. But of course, when you're streaming live on Facebook, anything can happen, and anything often will happen. All right, I'm going to stop this live and see if we can connect with her behind the scenes, see if she's having issues with her internet, and we'll bring her back. God willing, that technology will allow us to share. But anyway, she was just about to share some great insights for us. So hopefully we'll be back.